who we just watched his short film.
Yeah. Televoir, and he
did the music for it and all that. Very cool things. We are video calling him now. Yo,
there he is. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
We are doing good. We just watched your on stream your Televoir short film.
Oh, cool. How'd you like it?
Very awesome.
Yeah, the VFX are really cool. Is it one of those things where you wanted the audience to walk away with their own interpretation from it, or did you have a set idea of what you were trying to say in the short film?
Definitely had stuff to say, but yeah, I always try to leave things a little open, just for the fun of the audience, because I like to give the audience a little bit of work, instead of just being completely passive.
Liminal Cinema is your band too. That we watched one of your music videos. Which one was it? That we just watched. There was
Where Am I think.
Yeah, it was
I
Where
think
Am
that's the
I?
only one out.
Yeah. That was the one we were watching. That was really cool. I love the camera angle.
Thank you.
When you're like looking into the camera and then singing also on top of the car. Just really great shots.
A lot of the shots in the short were very, very awesome too. Like I just liked a lot of that. I was going and I was thinking like, is he gonna do this or that on it? And it was just very well done. All the effects and shit were very cool.
Yeah, I think for Televoir, the challenge was, I knew going into it, the whole, like, one of the main points was that it mainly takes place in a single room. So like, how do you make that different? Like, you obviously can block it out with like certain cutaway shots, like normal, like wide, normal, medium, close up, whatever. But when you're doing that for 15 minutes or however long it is, you got to switch it up and do different things. Like I think like where I'm crawling and the camera's like going backward, like things like that were, I think, vital you need that to have a different kind of switch up and it adds to, I think, the tension too, where it kind of creates unexpected new angles. You're getting lower to the ground in some spots. You're there, I think at the beginning there's the shot in the corner that's like the wide angle of the whole room for like a couple seconds, and it's just these different kind of shots to kind of create a more unique experience, and since it takes place just on the couch most of the film.
Did you because I saw that the camera was like turning with the clock, and I really liked that.
I liked that too. That stood out to me a lot.
Yeah.
And then it started
turning.
My friend,
yeah.
It was turning on the clock, and then it was turning on you when you were grabbing at the thing on the ground. Did you do the VFX shots for it?
Yeah.
Those were ridiculously cool. Like, especially the truck hitting you and then you landing in the forest.
Yeah, the way you landed against a tree was so cool. I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Just the way that scene looked, too. The way that it was, like, saturated and the colors of that was very awesome.
Yeah, did you do the color correction, too? Like.
Yeah, I pretty much everything, editing or post-production,
yeah. There was a spot where you were walking out of a building and immediately you were like.
Oh, the old Joliet Mall. The part of Joliet Mall that was closed? Yep.
Yeah.
Because I used to park there freshman year when I would go to get lunch. I would park over by like the Sears or something like that, and just always see that awning there because I love the way it looked. Yeah.
It looks so cool with the abandoned. Like, I like that the light was still on inside. Like that whole sequence, I guess, is kind of vague, on purpose. I think that's where where we were talking at first about leaving things up to interpretation. Like, I have what I think is happening in those scenes, but for that shot, I wanted like a abandoned, but like it still like is in service kind of things, like building,
like
for him to go to,
not abandoned per se, like on the closer edge.
Yeah, like something's weird about it, and that was just a pickup shot. Like, I think me and my friend were just randomly driving around town or something, and
I'll pull over real quick. This is cool. Yeah, we got those.
The second I saw the forest, I was like, yes, a filmmaker's best friend.
I mean, dude, I can't even count how many films or how many times we've used not only the same forest, but just the forest, any forest. It's free set design, basically.
And you always see something different too. You put the camera in one spot and then you move it 10 feet facing the other way, and you're in a whole different forest sometimes. And I love that. It's so cool. Versus being in a house.
You can shoot like a chase scene within like a very small radius if you just change the angles, you know?
Just keep running from tree to tree and showing different
I mean, especially
yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
When we saw the lamp in there, I was like leaned over to Nate. I was like, that's his that's the EP album art.
When it was off in the woods, I was like thinking it was when I was like, did he? I didn't know how the shot was gonna go, but I'm like, did he bring a battery pack into the woods to power the light for that scene? Did you? Okay, because when it switches, it looked really clean. Because we had a similar shot with Doyle in it, where there's like a candle lit in this little guy's head in it, and then when the smoke goes out, it was like a little jump before, but I was able to fade it to where the footage looks like where it's lit, and then just the smoke rolls out just fluidly as one piece to where we lined that up, and that was very, very cool.
The whole project that we're working on is called Season of the Curse 2. It's the sequel to our, like, we were kind of out of college at that point, but we didn't put a lot of effort as we wanted to do into our next one. And how long did it take? Because there's a lot of... For us, when we did Season of the Curse, the original, it took us... We remastered it, like, 2 years later. So I kind of wanted to know, between filming Televoir and then doing all the VFX and stuff like that, how long did that take?
I think the idea came... Well, I had like an idea for a different short, like a kind of similar vibe and not concept. It really changed, but I had this like a lone guy being affected by some external things. I mean, that's like a common story. The thing that I wanted to do, which I'm not going to reveal because I might utilize it in the future, but it wasn't working out. It wasn't working out. And so I'm like, I got to do something different. And over the past like 6 years or so, I've gotten a bunch of in online communities, you know, have met and gathered a bunch of like really close friends from these communities that I've met in real life numerous times now, but they're scattered across the country. And you know, we all talk about like our passions and stuff and like what we do in our free time. And I always wanted to like make something, because I usually make the short films I make usually with like my best friend, and that's about it. You know, maybe one other person. But I wanted to incorporate these friends. Yeah, I mean that's like that's how it always is. You know, it's like whoever you can manage to get.
Yeah, whoever's free and doesn't hinder the process
and doesn't
actually
hate you
wants
for
to
asking.
help.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, you're not trying to like over convince or like, you know, like who wants to do it. And a lot of these friends were like interested in it, but I'm like, how's that going to work? Like, do we have to take a vacation, like do it in a weekend, or you know, like that's going to be crazy to do a whole short film in a few days. I mean, it's possible, but I'm like, there's got to be a way to do something remote where I can film like most of it, but they can film their stuff without me even being there. And so I was trying to come up with an idea, and obviously like the TV or a radio or, you know, like something that's transmitted. I can just kind of storyboard and script out the scenes for these people, for my friends, and then just be like, here, go in your garage and then open your garage so you have like a nice side lighting, go against the blank wall so I can cut you out because you don't have a green screen, you know.
And shit.
I was gonna say
that is very awesome.
And so like everybody on the TV except the bourbon the bourbon salesman.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because he appears later. I was gonna say, did he fly out? But apparently it was more.
No, I mean he's like the best friend that I do all this stuff. So he's local. We were trying to figure out like what role for him, since he's local, like which advertiser would he fit best with. And I think there's like two of the longer ones, which were the burger guy and the bourbon. And I think the bourbon, he killed it with the bourbon guy. So
the bourbon guy was really funny. I love that.
You kept making jokes about it.
Perfect.
I did. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like the reporter when he was like, "Go ahead, we made it for you."
Yeah, it switched from the burger. Was what I was gonna say. It was like the burger, and it switched, and then he's like looking at the burger, and then go on, we made it just for you, and then back to like murder.
He did great. Like
so
that
cool.
Unsettling, like just normal. Like he's talking normally. Like I purposely didn't give too much direction to a lot of these people, because I was like, just make it your own. Like have fun with it. Interpret the like. And for the sports guy, that guy John, I was like, I don't watch sports in my free time, so I have no idea how to write like a script of a sportscaster recapping games. Like, so I'm like, literally just do whatever, you take that and do, because you know sports.
Yeah.
Go for it, man. And then just like fit in these specific lines, you know, like we made it especially for you or whatever. But yeah, so the whole concept really, I didn't know if it would work, like I'm the only one filming with like a higher end camera, I'm gonna have to deal with
Yep.
like phone footage and how's that gonna go with VFX. But I think also in my favor was the TV quality. It's
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say when phone footage looks shitty, I use that to my advantage and just I'm like, all right, it's gonna be film grain or VHS or something with a little
yeah,
color change, like oversaturated a little bit or something. Just and it always looks so
right.
cool. It looks like they did like a spooky VHS
Yeah,
effect. It's
it's
like no, this phone footage just
perfect.
sucks.
Yeah, and we actually for like
Not that
most,
any
I
of that
think
good
there's like
years are good.
one or two screen replacements, but almost a lot, like most of the film is I took the whole string of videos, everything that would be on the TV, and burned it to a VHS tape that I got
Awesome.
at
Okay.
Goodwill,
Yeah.
and then actually played it so it has like that realistic,
See, I
texture.
seen the time on the VHS underneath it. I'm like, I was thinking you were watching something on it to have the light effect from it. You were actually just playing it on it. That's super sick. Because I still like to
Yeah,
burn
well,
CDs and DVDs and shit too. So that's very
yeah,
awesome.
I had to replace with VFX the clock because it said play every time, you know.
Yeah, yep.
So
Damn.
and then I did calculate like what time does the film start, and then for every minute that passes, like how do I like
Yeah.
I have to change the clock to
It's like
to equal that.
it's like mental editing to where you just see it in the timeline on your screen, but you have to make it work in the visual timeline of the viewer space. And I love doing that when it's like,
Hmm.
in 1 minute, if you're not down here, and then they continue the dialogue of the movie, and then the minute happens without like a signal going off,
Yep.
and then the thing happens like
Yeah.
off cue. So cool. Like that's very awesome.
When you can see the lamp in the VHS over, like I almost said overlay, but when you
Yeah.
can see the lamp through the static
Like
of
the
the
reflection,
VHS,
yeah.
yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Yeah, like there's things like that where that's why like I did a bunch of tests where I wanted what does the screen replacement look like if we're gonna do full screen replacement, but then it's like, okay, well, man, tracking, moving shots is gonna be a pain.
Yeah.
So, we just gonna do tripod shots or like so I was like, but it'd be actually easier just to have the VHS actually playing,
Yeah.
but then the only tricky part would be timing, like
Yeah.
acting on cue, like, and so like
Yeah.
before every like segment, I had a black screen that had a countdown timer
Mhm.
on it, like so that I could get ready, like it's like oh we're rolling, cool, okay, and then you just time it with everything. The timing, obviously the hardest one I think for me was the sportscaster looks at me because it's like I can't be looking at him or the TV, and I have to
Mhm.
time it right for when he looks away because then there's no audio cue for when he
Yeah.
goes back,
Hmm.
So like that was tricky we had to do a bunch of takes of that, but I think it turned out pretty good.
That's really cool.
There was a name of the city. It said Volin City. I was wondering if that was a reference to something specific.
Pretty much everything in the like any name, any everything has a
Anything you see
meaning.
is intentional. Hell yeah.
Yeah, like there's a lot of the things on the shelf were from like old films and stuff, or like referencing old films, or like literally props from other short films that we've done.
Yep.
But yeah, like Volun City. Honestly, this is like I've never revealed this, but it is. I was trying to come up with names for cities and stuff, and I had a few, cheeky ones for inside jokes, but then I just needed something random, and I had it was like a tin, like one of those tin you hang it on the wall. What do they call those? Like a tin plate, like a sign. I
Like
don't
one
know.
of the metal little plates that they have up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah.
about.
Okay.
And so I saw it was for Revolution Brewing, like the beer
Yeah.
uh, company. So I took like VOLU from Revolution, and then just changed the the suffix of it, and like that's it.
That's cool. That's really cool.
How many short films have you done? I mean, the ones that's
That
a
you s-
common topic that
yeah.
the ones that you actually want people to see, and the ones that you kind of like hide.
Like ones
in
that
the
you've
corner.
made like in high school or whatever, or
Yeah.
ones that you're like more of an adult and you're like, I want people to see this and think it's cool.
I would say 5 to 8. We've probably done like 12 to 15 over there. I mean, we've been doing it since 2008 is when we started.
Hell yeah.
I mean, we were like kids at that
Yeah.
point,
Yep,
but
same. My YouTube started in 07, so
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's been a while, but I would say like the past 6 to 8 years ish, 6 years, safer.
Yeah, being more professional with
that's
it. I'm around the similar era because I'd always done it like on my phone and shit, and done like more professional
yeah.
looking
You
stuff
gotta
on my
start
phone.
somewhere, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But like professional,
Yeah.
definitely like 6 years or 6 to 8 years or so.
You brought up that you used
Yeah.
a high grade camera for Televoir. What camera were you rocking with?
A few years ago, well, how many years ago? Shit, it's like 5 years ago now. I bought the GH5 on release day because I was looking for an upgrade. It was like my first time I was gonna buy a decent camera.
Yep.
You know, actually save up for it, and it was between the Sony A7S II, I think, and the GH5, and I think what sold it for me was the image stabilization because I was like, I don't want to have to always have a gimbal, man. You know, like
Yeah.
that's a bummer to have to charge it, and it's a whole nother thing. Whereas with the GH5, if you just have a Lumix lens on there,
See, I've got the Lumix G6.
handheld.
That was my camera.
Yeah.
Beginning of COVID, I got a really nice deal on Newegg. It was like $900 worth of
Nice.
shit that I got for like $400 or $500. It was like 50 millimeter lens and the regular one, and then a bunch of different other screw-on lenses, and it was super. It came with a bunch of software too. I didn't end up using the software with it, but super cool. Definitely very nice to have like my own 4K camera on a deal.
I think when we started doing, because we've done a bunch of 48-hour film competitions, and when we had a gimbal, it was nice, but it was so like
It was finicky too. If it wouldn't work right, it was not working right, man.
Yeah.
It just
Right. It's a pain. It really is. Like that's why. Yeah, I'm
NASA
glad. Like
training.
yeah, straight up. I think for me, like I think the Micro Four Thirds system definitely it leaves a little to be desired in low light situations. But I mean, that's just kind of that's only in certain situations, like in the forest where it's hard to bring lights out. You know, so it's like
that's
most
the only
other
thing with
places
the Lumix
you can just light better.
As a filmmaker, that's an experience I've had where I just cannot, like, I want this scene to be dark, and it is impossible to get the grain out of certain places. I'm like, I want it to be dark, and if I try to light it right, and I try to go into VFX and try to do it in After Effects or some other program I can find, it just doesn't look right the way that I want it. Did you have that type of issue with Televoir where it just didn't look the way you wanted, or did it come out looking the way that you wanted by the end of it?
I think always you have at least for me, I always have a different. It usually is pretty close, but like the final product definitely looks not what I probably imagined it. The end product looks very close, but almost like 3/4 of the way through, I think it's still like, oh, is this even good? You know, like you second guess yourself. But I think there's that like last quarter mile that really brings everything together. And for Televoir, I think it was it was a last minute decision. I had two versions of the 4:3 ratio and 16:9 like regular widescreen. I felt like because the film takes place in a single room and the whole thing is kind of about being trapped and like enclosed and in a small space, and like I don't need these wide shots of the room or anything because there's not much in it. It's just like a normal room. I think the square actually helped sell the vibe even a little bit more on top of the color, the cooler color grading. It totally like blossomed at the last minute with changing the aspect ratio, you know, even though like, I didn't shoot in that aspect ratio, but I knew while shooting, shoot a little wider, you know, because you might need to crop the edges and then, you know, like have a little more room because it's going to be more vertical.
That's what I usually tell you. I'm like, you can always make it quieter, you can always make it darker, and you can always make it smaller, but you can't make it bigger, you know, you can't make it that much brighter, and you can't make it that much louder without just ruining it. So
because we did Season of the Curse, the original, in 2019, and again, we literally just ran around and just did a bunch of random stuff, and I sat in an editing room. I say an editing room, it was my room, for about 4 days or 3 days, like no sleep. Just I wanted it to be out by Halloween, and when I finally dropped it, we both were like,
I didn't even know it came out.
Yeah.
I was waiting in line for a concert Halloween night in Joliet for Twisted, and then my parents texted me like an hour after it had been out, I guess, and I loved the movie, and I'm like, it's out, bro? I didn't even know. He just hit upload and died.
That's
literally.
funny.
But the thing is, like, we both came to a conclusion that we weren't in love with the final product.
Yeah, just because we rushed the time release on it.
And 2 years later, we came back to it, we remastered it, we re-edited it to a point that we actually enjoyed it a lot more to realize that we want to do it again with like a better idea of what we want to do, which is,
and that's what I was saying too, like with not like a time restraint on it too, because like I know we have a lot of shit going on in our lives like that we need to fix or do or whatever, but like we can always keep filming. But we don't have to rush the release date on it, which I get what you want to and shit, but like.
Yeah, because it's that thing in the back of my head where I want it to come out in October because it's Halloween based. You know, that whole.
Dude, like that was a last minute decision for Televar too. I was like, we never set dates because we always have some crap that you have to like. It's like we found something else. You know, we found something else, and but I was like, nah, we gotta do Halloween. Like, we gotta it has to be Halloween. I think because it was. And so it was brutal, but I think it rendered overnight even because the film grain or whatever Adobe does not like film grain.
It does not.
No.
Especially for a 15-minute video.
When we were because our short Halloween musical we did in 2019 was like 37 minutes.
Yeah.
I messaged him. I was like, yeah, I could try to get all the grain out, but it would take
like 36
4
hours
days. It said on Adobe After Effects. And so I was like,
dumb.
I'm not going to do that. Forgive me, I just saw the thumbnail and it said that you won some awards on it. Like, how was that with the film festival, and how was that process for you?
Yeah, so going back to like you asked it earlier. So yeah, the idea was like probably a year before I started filming, even because I had to organize and get everybody's TV footage, obviously, because I have to film in the room with it live. So that took a couple months. I think it was mainly for the room, like for the living room set. That everything from there took about 2 days nonstop, and then like maybe 1 or 2 days, not like full days, but like little shoots for like the bunker and the forest. I think we might have done both of those in the same day even. But once we filmed everything, it probably took, because I think we filmed in, I want to say April of 22 then. Yeah.
Damn.
April of 22, and it came out in October. So it took all that time. I mean, like the VFX took forever. Editing took forever. And then the music, because we needed that. And
the music
I wanted to try.
Super sick.
Music
is
so
thank you.
Good, man.
Yeah, that speaking of the what you're asking me with like the awards, it was for this best shorts competition. They run like constantly, I guess. I don't know. I keep getting emails like every 3 months of like, oh, it's back again. I'm like, that makes no sense, but okay. But
it's not
I was
Black
actually
Friday
visiting.
yet, it's March.
Right. I'm like, but I was visiting my friend because he lives out of state. The bourbon guy, and like a bourbon shop, because we enjoy that in real life as well.
Yeah.
And we were having drinks, and he went to the bathroom. In the bathroom, like while he was in the bathroom, I was checking my phone, and I got an email. It was like, congratulations, best short. You I don't know, whatever. And there were just awards for we got 2 awards. One's like just award of merit and one of excellence, I think. And the merit award was for this short film, and then the excellence award was for the score, which I was like blown away.
That's
I couldn't believe.
Awesome! Congratulations, dude. That's cool.
Thank you. It was the first time, like, because we did submit an older short film to a couple of festivals a few years ago, but nothing came of that, which was fine. I didn't really expect it to.
I think more or less everybody that submits something, even if they put like tons of money and time into it, they're like, we're not gonna get anywhere with this. Even if you love it and it's your favorite thing, you're like, people are gonna blow over this. Yeah. So when it actually happens, you're like, oh shit, other people think this is cool.
Right. So, and the score, that score really, like, getting any recognition really kind of
that's a different aspect of it, because filming and everything is one thing, but when it's your music, man, it's like a total different part of you is validated and like resonating with someone else in a different way than film or writing can, in my opinion, and that's very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, especially since me and my bandmate, also the bourbon guy.
The bourbon guy shirts out now.
We're best friends,
Does he have a name, or are you just gonna keep calling him bourbon guy?
Brandon. His name is Brandon. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but Brandon and I just started making music in 2020. So like that also was like really cool to see how or like to see the recognition so quickly
Yeah.
for something as opposed to like filming, which we've been doing for over a decade, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes right when you try
I feel
something new,
like,
it pays off, and you're like, damn, all right, I've been doing this for 10 years and this for 3 months, and it popped off. So I guess we'll do a little
yeah,
more of
and,
this and see how it goes. As long as it's fun, I don't
right.
care.
And I feel like it does, like, I mean, I could talk for like hours about it, but like there is a lot translatable from like filmmaking and music making.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know,
I see the
especially
same
on the technical
timelines in my
side.
head on like setting up
Yeah.
everything, and then the way you edit it and everything too. Just it's really similar.
And you
Just
perform, you know, you
yeah,
perform like as in both ways. I mean, in a way, you are acting when you sing because you're like
yeah. You're
not
conveying
every
an
time you
emotion.
sing.
Yeah, you're conveying an emotion you might not be feeling at the time. Like if it's sad, you might be
Yeah,
happy, and if it's happy, you might be sad as shit or mad. You know, so it's like it is
right.
acting. I never thought of that
Or
like
even
that
yeah,
actually, but yeah,
and like the way you play too. You know, like how emotional you
yeah.
know you putting your emotions into playing. But yeah, so that was super cool to get the recognition for that, and
D-
it really was a cool project. I just started learning guitar a couple months ago
Hell
because
yeah.
I don't know. I was just I've been learning piano for a year. Like when we started the band, and even no, I wrote a couple songs on piano for the score, but like the main theme song is performed. But yeah, when we started the band, I didn't. The only real instrument in all of our music was his bass because he was the only one that knew an instrument. Everything else was just digital, like VSTs,
Mhm.
and I felt like I was like I need to learn an instrument if you know, and I have a lot of like I have a lot of time to dedicate to this, you know. So I think piano was the first. Um, it felt most natural because
Mhm.
it's linear. It's easier to understand, at least to me, than guitar. Guitar is a little wacky. It feel it like I'm catching on a lot faster than I thought with guitar though because I think piano helped, like learning the fundamentals
Yeah.
and a little bit of theory on piano kind of helped. Like I understand lessons and stuff a lot faster because it's like, oh, okay, that's this. I know that on piano, so it's like easy to translate. But
I mean, I think
yeah, I
that.
don't perform
Yeah,
yet.
I mean,
Not yet.
not yet. That's the thing.
That's how I feel with shit too.
We'll
Even I'm
see.
like,
Yeah,
nah, I'm gonna do it in my room, and then it's like, yeah, maybe I want to do it live one day.
I mean,
yeah.
because
Like I like doing it for the music videos and
Yeah.
the band shit, but I'm not confident in my abilities yet, or like proficient enough in any of the instruments yet to really do it that well. I don't think, you know.
The stuff you made already though sounds really awesome though, dude.
yeah,
For sure.
I
Thank
loved
you.
especially the EP when that dropped. I was very happy when I was like
Yeah, I gotta check
listening
that
through
out.
that.
I gotta check that out.
The art for it is just still one
Thank
of my
you.
favorite things. I love the name Liminal Cinema in the first place. I'm like one of those people where I'm very jealous of musicians and their abilities because
Yeah.
I would love to
Oh,
do
me
that.
too.
And
Everybody
Me
is
too.
a little bit
Yeah.
of something. Like, you know, a
Yeah.
guitar player might be like, dude, the fucking flute, that shit's crazy. I can't do that. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
anything. You never know.
especially because
No, I am.
I work with a lot of musicians on my projects. Like I
Yeah.
do a TT
Hmm.
RPG audio drama with an original
Ooh,
soundtrack, and
that's
for
cool.
Season of the Curse 2, we have a lot of musicians who are going to be helping us make the soundtrack for it. I think it's one of the projects we're going to put our the most into because we've learned so much over the years, just like you have because you've been working on stuff like this since 2008. Do you have anything in the future planned, like as far as shorts or films or anything like that?
I have ideas percolating. That's
Hmm.
about it. Televar was such a big project, and it's so hard, especially as adults, to
Yeah.
like
Make
get
time and
everything
shit.
together and get people together. Like that's why it is kind of easier to just have a small crew.
Especially if you're
Even
all in
though
like the
like the
same
more people
town.
you put in, the better it gets, you know. But this year is pretty busy for Brandon and I, so it's harder to find like open spots for like long hours of filming. But
Mhm.
we're definitely we have a few projects that have been like sitting, waiting. There's a few scripts already done, you know. Our workflow tends to be we do like a original project, original IP, and then we do something that's like already existing. Like we did, you know, like the Joker stuff, and then we did.
The Bo Burnham recreation. I saw that one. Very good, by the
I,
way.
I seen the
I
thumbnail that.
filmed that like
So
I filmed that like a year ago, and I just never posted it. I was like, why not? You
funny
know,
enough,
like
when we were
whatever.
watching the short, I was looking at you and I almost said it. I was like, he reminds me a little bit of Bo Burnham. And then after that, I seen the thumbnail of that, and I'm like, okay, I wasn't the only one thinking that, and you leaned into that, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever when Inside his special came out, it was like that was like the first time everybody saw him with a beard or whatever, and I had super long hair at the time too. When that dropped, people were texting me like, "Dude, it's kind of creepy how like."
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
I always love when people
like,
say,
okay,
like,
well,
dude,
I
that's
gotta-
scary how close it is. And you're like, thank you.
Yeah. I'm just like a shorter, way shorter, because he's like monstrously tall.
He is. He's
Is he?
super tall.
Is he like 6 foot something?
Yeah,
or whatever?
he's in,
like
yeah,
6'5"?
he's
Yeah.
up there.
Fuck. Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
When Inside
he's
dropped,
huge.
when Inside dropped, have you still not seen Inside?
I haven't got to see the full thing of
Okay.
it. Like,
When
That's so
when
good.
I watched it, I've watched it a few
I've
times.
heard most of the songs, but not got to see it. So
When the
That's
beginning.
that's like half of it. Is,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
I know. I want to see it too because I know he did most of it was shipped from Amazon in his house, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Because that's
yeah.
all we do.
Oh my god, it's-
Goodwill
yeah,
is more
right,
than
it's-
Amazon.
It's so cool.
I mean, the second I saw the disco ball part in the first minute of the movie, I was like, "Oh, this is a masterpiece!" Like that's how I felt
This is
about
gonna
it.
be crazy.
Yeah,
Don't
immediately
cry.
I was like, "Oh, that's so cool," and that's kind of like the inspiration I have for Season of the Curse 2 is just like there's gonna be a lot of just weird lighting that I'm gonna try and mess around with and just try to
nice.
go whole hog for it. But we're about to jump into our next segment. We are so glad that you joined us. I very much
Thank
love
you.
Televoir. I love your EP. I do have one question real quick. Did you
Yeah.
go to JJC?
Yeah,
Okay,
we were
I
in
thought
classes
so, too.
together.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, we
I
were
didn't
both-
know
we
if
were
you
thinking that,
remembered
but-
me or not. Okay, that was cool.
We're
Yeah.
both thinking about that. He's like, I think we went to school with him. I'm like, he definitely looks familiar.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
honestly,
I was the quiet kid in the back. But,
Yeah, me too.
I remember we were in a group together, and I was supposed to be in drag, and then Shelly was yelling at me, so the group made you put on
Yeah,
everything.
the wig and I had a blazer from Goodwill. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, most of our shit is Goodwill or
Yeah.
Friends
Oh
and shit.
shoot!
so-
I would not be a filmmaker without Goodwill.
Oh yeah, same. I wouldn't be anything.
Exactly. Like
I even get regular clothes there.
yeah.
A lot of days, like I'll have like new merch and my own stuff or whatever, but I'll be thinking about it and I'm like, hat, shirt, pants, shoes. Okay, yeah, everything's from Goodwill that I'm wearing except my underwear and socks right now. Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's a great.
Anytime I go to a Goodwill and I find anything, I'm like, this will be a fun prop for a movie. Let
Yeah, me
just-
too. I'll get stuff
Oh,
for
yeah.
props or for friends and shit all the time, and I like that green version
Yeah.
of the gimmick sweater I gave you right
Yeah.
before we got back on. It was very cool.
Yeah, the Televar TV was it wasn't from Goodwill, but it was on Facebook Marketplace. I was just looking for like an old TV, but it had to work obviously.
Yeah.
And so this lady was like, if you can get it out of my house, you can have it for free.
I've got.
I'm like, bet.
yeah, yes, dude.
And it was like, the heaviest shit I ever
Yeah.
like. I couldn't believe. I almost probably broke my back that day. Oh my god! But I got it, and it's actually awesome because it's been in like I used it for the lyric videos for Liminal Cinema.
I'm gonna tell my
I've used it for
buyers.
so much. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's such a cool, and I got it for free. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this
Yeah.
is
But
All
anyway, thank you so much. Hey, if you ever get a PM,
Thank you.
If you ever get a PM from me and be like, "Hey, man, you want to collab with some music or stuff?"
Yeah,
you
I
most
was
likely
gonna say
will
with
get that.
with him and along with some of the other guests, if not all the other guests that were on
Yeah.
today so far and up next, I would like to do more of some in the future. Even just another hangout like this, where there's not like we got someone in a half hour sort of thing. We can just bullshit for a couple
Yeah.
hours,
Yeah.
on or off stream would be very cool. Appreciate
Hell
you
yeah.
and your work. We'll link it in the description
you.
as I've said with everybody. Once the end of the stream, so when people can get to it, they can lick it from there. And
Awesome.
all right.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Nice talking to you. We'll definitely talk to you in the
you
future.
too.
All right.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
All right, peace.
Peace. Bye.
Peace.